Hello everybody, I'm Matt, this is Java with the Busted Couch, and we are here to talk to you about Pain and Gain.
It's actually really, really good.
Yeah, Michael Bay.
Made a good movie.
And it's actually based off true events, which keeps reminding you of throughout the movie.
Because, it feels the need to remind you that this is true events because it's pretty goddamn ridiculous.
Yeah. So it stars Marky Mark, The Rock, and the other guy. What the fuck's his name? Anyway, they play these three guys at the gym.
They're dumb.
They're dumb.
Mark Wahlberg's character is dumb. However, compared to pretty much everyone else in this film, he is like a genius, evil mastermind.
Yeah. What do you say it was like?
This is Michael Bay trying to make a Coen Brothers movie. Like, it's, bad people doing bad things and it going completely wrong. And it's really dark, but it was really good. Michael Bay's style works perfectly for telling this tale.
If you want to see Marky Mark and The Rock and the other guy be really stupid people, then you should probably watch this movie. And if you're a fan of dark humor, see it. And Tony Shalhoub plays a great douchebag. So if any of that sounds appealing, and you trust our recommendation, then go see it. So spoilers. The movie starts off with Marky Mark doing some sit-ups on a bar on a wall somewhere, and he's just like, "I'm hot, I'm awesome," or something like that. And then he's
huge.
Like, "Fuck!"
Yeah, sees cops pulling out.
Yeah, leaps off, starts running. There's like a little chase scene, and then there's like awesome slow-mo cops jumping out of vehicles and faces. Awesome, yeah. And then he gets hit by a car, and he starts narrating the story.
Yep. And yeah, everyone, like, pretty much all the main characters narrate at different points.
Yeah.
And it's pretty interesting, because it really just kind of shows you how dumb these guys are. Like, Marky Mark's main thing is, "I'm Daniel Lugo, and I believe in fitness."
Yes. I believe in fitness as his religion.
And his role models include Scarface and all those guys in The Godfather.
Yeah.
That is a direct quote.
Yes. So
he's a fitness instructor.
Yeah.
He's a personal trainer, and he's unhappy with his lot in life because basically he had previously conned a bunch of old people out of their money by pretending to be like an investment person, and he got caught and went to jail for that. And now he's out and he's having a hard time getting work because of that. But he gets work at this gym because he guarantees that he'll turn it around and like triple their enrollment in 3 months, or he'll quit. And he does all this stuff, and he actually is good at his job and getting people to go to the gym. He uses tricks such as letting strippers come to the gym for free, which will then get other people to come to the gym so they can see the strippers.
Yes. I mean, that was actually pretty smart.
It works. Like, he has some good marketing, and he has a good role in fitness, but the thing is, he's still,
unhappy.
Yeah, he doesn't make much money because it's pretty much a minimum wage commission-based job. And even though, the gym's making money, he really isn't. And he feels that, he should be moving up because of all this, and he deserves it.
Yeah. I don't know why he wouldn't just ask his boss for more money.
Yeah.
That would have been a thing.
He's dumb.
Yeah, but he's stupid, so...
Yeah. So him and another guy who goes to the gym regularly, they've become best friends, come up with this plan. One of the clients that Lugo works with is Tony Shalhoub's character, who's this multi-millionaire. He came from Colombia, and he moved to the States. And his whole thing was that, he's worked hard, he does all these different things. He, invests in this, he runs a sandwich company, he does all these different things. And he's, worked really hard to build up this fortune. But he's a dick. He's a complete douchebag.
Yeah, he makes Marky Mark feel like a piece of shit every time they get together.
And it just pisses Marky Mark off. So he's like, why the hell does this guy get stuff? He's a dick. I work hard, I try. I've done all this stuff, I'm good at it, but I don't get paid. This guy gets paid. Look at him, he's a complete tool. So his plan is that they should rob the guy by kidnapping him, getting him to sign papers that will legally turn over all of his possessions and money to them. And they'll do it, anonymously, so he doesn't know who kidnapped him at all. And then there'll be no way to trace it after it's done legal, because he won't know who did it. Except he could probably look at who's living in his house. But once again, Marky Mark's stupid.
So, him and his friend at the gym that work out together, and I guess Marky Mark was his trainer and stuff, they get to talking, and then The Rock comes in looking for a job, and they talk to him.
Well, first of all, his friend is not really up for it right away, because he's kind of happy with where he is. The thing is, he's been using steroids, and they've kind of affected how well his dick works. And they've got Peter Stormare shows up as doctor, who has these fancy injections that'll make his dick work again.
He's a cock doctor.
Unfortunately, they come at a price. So now he's down for this plan because he needs that money to make his dick work.
Yes, so that's motivation right there.
And then The Rock shows up, who had a bit of a problem with cocaine and ended up in jail.
Yeah.
But he kicked his habit and found Jesus.
And then became a protector of those who can't defend themselves.
Yeah.
And all sorts of fun stuff.
And now he's out of prison and he can't find work. Yeah. So they befriend him.
He was working at the church, but then the pastor or whatever, the priest...
the old priest is just like, ooh, those big muscles you got.
You're so buff.
So buff.
You're so buff.
And then at this point, there's voiceover by The Rock. He's like, why does he tell me how buff I am? And it cuts to him just punching the priest
just beat the shit out of him.
Washing the blood off his hands.
Okay, by the way, The Rock is just amazing.
He really is.
He is probably my favorite part of this movie.
He's always carrying a skateboard.
Yeah.
Just hilarious because he's too huge. I don't think he could ride it.
Yeah.
Just carrying it everywhere. So they come up with a plan, and Marky Mark is lead. So he's got a whiteboard, and he's drawn out a diagram of the guy's house and made a plan. Basically their plan is we go around to the back and we go in through the back door and then we kidnap him.
So Delta Force could do this in 57 seconds.
But with our
level of fitness, we could do it in 40.
Yeah. and then it cuts to the voiceover of The Rock, and he's like, how does he come up with these amazing plans? So they enact the plan, and unfortunately, not only is he not home alone, he's got a dozen people there. Yeah,
it's some sort of Jewish thing that they're doing, and
so they all press up against the. And they say, oh my god, abort, abort, and they run away.
Yeah, they just run away.
So then, plan number 2 is that
parking lot.
Yeah, they're in a parking lot. There's this car. They're gonna wait until he's there. They're gonna back up and block him in, and then they're gonna jump out in their ninja costumes. Well, the one guy's got a Green Man costume. But they're going to jump out and they're going to kidnap him. Unfortunately, they are really stupid. So he's walking, they back up and open the doors, and he's beside the van at this point. And he just keeps walking. And they're looking around, where'd he go? They're looking under the cars.
Yeah.
Can't find him.
And then Tony Shalhoub walks in front of the van. He's like, fuck you, asshole.
Yeah, but Marky Mark's not looking. He's looking back. Yeah. He's like, did you find him? Where is he? What's happening? And then he just gets in his car and leaves, and then Marky Mark's like, we didn't even have the right BMW. We parked behind, we blocked in the wrong BMW. I told you to
look at the license plate.
He's like, just an honest mistake. Oh, and also there was how they got their weapons that they use in this, because they got tasers and a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
They went into a store, and they're looking at stuff, and the guy behind the counter is like, oh, this is for, this is just strictly police issue stuff. And then Marky Mark's like, we're Miami PD, it's fine. He's like, I'm going to have to see some badges. And he's like, And then the Rock notices that there's a sticker for a Christian rock band on the side of the cash register. He's like, we're actually retired and we're working security for this band. And the guy's like, oh, I love that band and everything. He's like, yeah.
And then the Rock starts singing along with him, and then Marky Mark's like, yeah, and people say that Christian rock sucks. Or
He's like, who says that? He's like, fucking
assholes.
And the guy's like, that's true. And then he's like, well, I thought they broke up. And the Rock's like,
reunion
this
tour.
Is a reunion tour that they're having in Israel. And he's like, ooh, sure, you can have everything. Looking at it. The best part is that immediately, what are you looking for? And then the other guy, he's just like, we're looking for anything you can use to subdue a man. It's just like, oh. But the guy has no problem with this. In fact, he has them test out the taser on him to show them how well it works.
Go ahead, do it. Do it. It works. It works. Just do it. I've done this before. Don't worry. Just do it. Do it. Do it. fucking tase him.
On their third try at kidnapping him works, which is as he's leaving his job at the sandwich store by the airport. He walks out, and a ninja just steps out from behind a dumpster in front of him. He's like, "The fuck's your problem?" What?
And then he throws his big pickle at him.
He's like eating a pickle from the sandwich store. He like chucks the pickle at the ninja. The ninja responds by tasing him in the neck, and then we have a slow-mo of him just like drooling and spitting as he falls over because he just got tased in the neck.
Got tased in the head.
Oh yeah, that's right.
You just and like.
Yep, and then Marky Mark jumps out of the van, and they just quick grab him, throw him in the van, and drive off. And they keep tasing him and trying to get him to cooperate. And eventually they tase him so much he passes out. But they get him back to the place that Marky Mark's friend owns, some sort of weird dry cleaning / sex toy warehouse.
Yeah. They call The Rock to tell him to open the gates, and he's just like
freaked out looking at all the
yeah,
dildos.
he's just like, this warehouse is full of some really gay stuff. Really gay. Like
so they bring in Tony Shalhoub and they handcuff him to a chair and wrap duct tape around his face so he can't see.
And one of them's holding a dildo.
Yeah.
And like
yeah, like has a club. Marky Mark is doing a really stupid, like, there's definitely some sort of Spanish accent. It's really bad. However, Tony Shalhoub instantly recognizes and knows who it is because he's wearing the same stupid cologne, which is very distinctive, and Tony Shalhoub had told him at the gym how much he hated it and how awful it was.
Yeah.
So their plan's kind of screwed. But they just keep him hostage, and they kind of torture him and like tase him and beat him with sex toys. Until they manage to get him to call everyone, like they get him to fire his cleaning lady, they get him to fire his secretary, they get him to tell his wife he met someone else and has moved to some other country, and basically gets all his ties gone so that no one will miss him as he's held hostage. And like they hold him hostage for like over a month trying to get him to sign these papers. And eventually he gets to sign them. They win him over by hanging him upside down from the dry cleaning rack and just sending him around in circles. But he signs the papers, and then Marky Mark takes him to the bank. And the guy's like, they're not notarized. And Marky Mark's like, do we have to do that? Can't we just skip that? Because he's left the country. He's off in Europe trying to save elephants. And the guy's like, what?
Yeah.
But yeah, he's like, no, we didn't notarize. And then the owner of the gym and Marky Mark's boss used to work as a notary. And so he brings this up. He's like, couldn't you sign these? He's like, no, you have to bring the guy in. Like, that's the whole point of the notary, is that I'm officiating. And they say, like, yes, these two did sign these documents. It is legit. And Marky Mark's just like, what the fuck is a notary? What is going on? Just give me your stamp so I can just put a stamp on it. It's like, no. But then Marky Mark's like, this sandwich guy would probably be because he's trying to put on like a weightlifting or bodybuilding competition or something, and he keeps losing his sponsors and it keeps falling through. And Marky Mark's like, this sandwich place would sponsor it if you sign my papers. He's like, okay, it looks legit. There you go. And it takes him back to the. Also, like, Tony Shalhoub's signature is like diagonal.
Yeah,
and, like,
across
really
the actual
messy, like,
documentation.
Across like the writing on it because he signed it while blindfolded and upside down. And no one seems to care. But now, like, yeah, it's notarized, so the bank's like, all right, here's all your money and the deed to the house. There you go.
So it's not just that being dumb. It's
pretty much everyone
everyone
in this movie is dumb. So now, unfortunately, they have to kill Tony Shalhoub because they can't let him go because he knows who they are.
So they go through all these little ideas.
So they come up with a plan.
Yep.
The plan is they're going to get him really drunk, put him in his car, and then crash his car
into something.
Yeah, so they're at like a construction site, and they do this and crash him right into a front end loader.
But other guy decided to put his seatbelt on.
Put a seatbelt on, so it was nice and safe and survived. So they put like a propane barbecue tank in his trunk and like pour gas all over the back and in the back seat and everything.
Lit it on fire.
And like walked away as it exploded. They get in the truck. He's like, okay. And like as they're going to leave, they look back and like he gets out and he's like patting out the fire as he stumbles and
as
falls.
As they're walking away, it just like comes into focus.
Okay, run him over. So they run him over and they just kind of wing him and like he falls over.
And the whole time, The Rock just hates this.
Yeah, because The Rock thinks that Basically, Tony Shalhoub was trying to convince The Rock that they were friends just to try and get The Rock to let him escape.
And The Rock made him
and
a
The
Christian.
Rock totally thinks that they are friends. That they've really connected.
Tony Shalhoub started calling him Eldad.
Yes.
And he kept calling him Pepe. Or Pepe. And Marky Mark's just like, the whole time, he's like, we don't really have time for this. It's like, just stop. I don't want to hear this.
There's a great scene where The Rock feeds Tony Shalhoub a Taco Supreme from Taco Bell.
The Rock
now they have to, but he's still not dead after they hit him with the van.
And The Rock is driving.
They have to back over him, make sure he's dead.
Yeah.
And so they do. Unfortunately, they still don't kill him. He just ends up with like a tire tread across his face. His head was between like a little cement thing and one of those like at the end of parking spaces, cement things. And so he just kind of gets mushed a bit by the tire, but not killed, and they just drive off, and he's fine. He's like, and so like, he's got like a broken wrist and a broken leg, and he's in the hospital and everything. But he lived through it. However, he had
outrageous
this
story.
He had this crazy like amount of alcohol in his system. He's telling the cops about how bodybuilding ninjas had kidnapped him and stolen everything he owned, and they're like, yeah.
You're from Colombia.
Yeah, are you sure this isn't like something to do with drugs? They're like, no, they did this. It's like, you got a tire tread across your face.
Don't like your attitude,
you're all burned, you're drunk. You're telling us that ninjas tried to kill you. It's like, come on, man. So they don't believe anything he says, and they leave.
Yeah.
At which point, Marky Mark and his team show up dressed as surgeons to try and sneak into the hospital to kill him. But he's signed himself out of the hospital. However, Marky Mark does learn that no one believed anything he said. So like, okay, cops didn't believe it. We're good. Nothing to worry about at all. And just like moves into the guy's house. Starts playing basketball with the neighborhood kids.
Yeah, get up off the ground, pussy. Just going like full on with these little kids.
Yeah, I go to this one guy. He's like, you eyeballing me, fatty? I see your mom. You're driving up and down the street looking at me. I'll be a stepdad by the end of the week.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, there's another character in this movie. There's a stripper.
Yeah.
She was a beauty contestant who lost from Eastern Europe. And she got herself smuggled into America because she wanted to be in America and become a famous movie star and all this stuff. Mm-hmm. And she's working as a stripper in Miami. First of all, Marky Mark very easily convinces her that he is directing a music video and is going to star her, which is not true. And eventually she figures this out when she finds all his like gear from trying to kidnap the guy, like his night vision goggles and all this stuff. He's like, why do you have this? So he sits her down and is like, I'm not supposed to tell you this. I work for the CIA. She's like, really? He's like, yes. One time, I was stuck in Hong Kong, and I had to live in a tree for a week.
That's a story.
That's a true thing that happened. He was a spy. He was forced to live in a tree in Hong Kong for a week. Anyway, she completely believes this. But then he's just like, so you know The Rock, I'm going to pass you off to him, and you're going to be his girl now instead of mine. He's also in the CIA. And she's like, okay. And the next time she meets The Rock, it's a great scene, because she's saying like how she knows how dangerous his work is and everything, and that she's his now. And he's like, I like that part, but I don't really know what you're saying. She's like, don't worry, I know who you are. He's like, that's good, because we've met before. But what are you saying? Everyone's just so stupid. That's amazing. At this point is when Ed Harris shows up, who is the only intelligent person in the entire movie. I guess Tony Shalhoub's kind of intelligent. He's just an
asshole. Yeah.
But yeah, he is basically, while he was in the hospital, Tony Shalhoub found like a decade-old Yellow Pages and found an ad for a private eye. This private eye was the dead father of Ed Harris, and Ed Harris himself is now retired, but he's kind of bored with retirement. And this story, well, he doesn't believe it at all. It sounds kind of interesting. It's like, yeah, I'll actually drive over and check in with this guy and see what he's saying and like look into it. Mm-hmm. Which he does. And so he starts keeping tabs on the group. Other guy and his girlfriend, who is the nurse who was helping him with his dick problems. Yeah, they get married and buy like a house together and all this stuff. The Rock has got a little bit of a... He's he fell off the wagon in terms of cocaine, and he's doing a lot of cocaine.
Yeah.
So he's got a problem there, and Marky Mark is living in this $3 million mansion, but still working as a personal trainer. And so just by following them around, Ed Harris is like, oh, this story seems to check out.
Yeah.
He like goes to the like whatever realtor company he the one guy bought the house from.
Yeah.
He's like, so he bought this house? Yeah. I was like, $100,000 cash. He's like, he paid cash. He's like, yep. That didn't seem odd to you? No, really. He's black. He might have been like in rap or sports or something.
Yeah.
And Harris is like, mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's all, slowly coming together. Ed Harris is piecing this all together. And unfortunately now, because of his massive cocaine problem, The Rock has used all his money. The Rock just decides he's going to get money on his own by just waiting around until a security guard is walking bags of money from a bank to the truck, and then he just like hits him with a golf club and steals the bags and runs. And then a bunch of cops chase him and shoot at him. And he loses one of the bags of money, but he takes the other one and hides in a hair salon. Opens it up, gets sprayed in the face with like bright green dye, and like pulls out like a handful of like stained money and just runs away with it. And he gets shot in the foot as he tries to swim away from the cops, which is a really bad idea.
And loses his toe.
Loses his big toe. But he swims down and gets it and puts it like in a little Ziploc bag. And other guy is also like, because he spent most of his money on the house and now he still has his dick problems that need to be fixed. He's like, no, we should do more. We should do like another job. I could use more money. And yeah, so this leads into his plan of that rich guy who was a douche at the strip club is like this rich porn producer, and they're like, they should just do the same thing to him and steal all his stuff. However, as opposed to their other plan, like it's not a kidnapping or anything, what they're going to do is convince this guy that they are in the telecommunications market in India and that he should invest in owning like phone rights in India. However, for some reason the guy buys it. The only problem he has is with Marky Mark. He like doesn't like, he's kind of like a meathead guy. Like he's like, you're a nice guy, you know a bit, but you don't know enough about business that I'd really trust you with like millions of my dollars. And then this just makes Marky Mark go into full rage mode.
Yeah.
It just like smashes the guy's head into a TV, and the guy's like, what the, you could have killed me. And then Marky Mark just keeps hitting him and like knocks him down. And then accidentally knocks some rather large heavy weights on top of his head and kills him.
Yeah.
And then the guy's wife like comes in and starts screaming.
So they trank her with horse tranquilizers.
Put horse tranquilizer in her ass.
Essentially,
they decide that now they just have to, they've fucked up. They have to like get rid of the body, but first they're gonna go to his house and they try to get, while she's all drugged up, they try to get the combination to a safe so they can just go and like take like his car and anything they can find of value and everything, just like the best that they can do out of the situation.
Yeah. And they leave other guy at home before his wife gets home to clean up.
And by clean up, that means like take a like box cutter to the carpet and just like cut out the sections with blood smears on them. Yeah. And just put them in the garbage can, like their garbage can outside, where she easily finds them. And she hadn't actually given them the correct combination to the safe, so they don't get that or anything. However, Marky Mark takes the guy's car anyway, which seems really stupid. Even like The Rock is like, you really shouldn't take the dead guy's car. That's gonna be an obvious giveaway. But then The Rock, who had still been carrying around his toe, gave his toe to the dead guy's little dog as a treat, and leaves. Also, yeah, she woke up, and so he had to tranquilize her again.
They killed her.
Yeah, they gave her too much horse tranquilizer. Might have killed her. They do this, and they take the bodies, and they put them in a cardboard box, and like transport them through the city to their headquarters, that warehouse place. So now they're trying to get rid of the bodies. So their plan is go to Home Depot and buy some stuff. I literally like walking by, like they buy like in big metal drums. We'll get a couple of those, and a giant bag of lye, and we'll get this chainsaw, some rubber gloves, get all this stuff, go back. And it's like a shitty electric chainsaw. So they go to try and like cut them up, and like it pretty much instantly jams, and like gets caught. It's got like bits of like blood and hair and everything stuck in it. But they return it, because they're like, this thing didn't work. It like, failed right away. And she's like, we got something stuck in there. It's like, fuck whatever we got stuck in there. You want a new one? I'm like, alright, go get a new one. So they do.
Yeah. And they watch like, there's like hair in it, and like some blood drops on the counter and then splatters on her on the woman that they were exchanging it with.
Yeah, she doesn't notice or care about the fact that this, is obviously a chainsaw that has been used in like some sort of violent act. It's like, whatever, just go get a new one. I don't care. So they go get a good chainsaw, and they dismember the people. Oh, also before this was when the chainsaw failed, they had a hatchet. So they used the hatchet to cut off their hands because they've decided. First of all, their plan is put the bodies in drums full of lye, which will dissolve them. However, they have to do something about the fingerprints so that the bodies can't be identified. And they decide the best thing to do is grill them off with a barbecue. So they leave the Rock in charge of that. He's like, grill these hands while we're gone to get rid of their fingerprints.
Yep. So the Rock's grilling.
Yep. However, it's getting smoky, so he just takes the barbecue outside. He's standing outside, like grilling the hands.
There's a girl looking at him. He's just like,
oh.
Hey. And she waves back and smiles.
Yeah. I just wanted to pause. Like, this is still based on a true story. And I get back to, why are you doing this out here? It was getting smoky in there. I couldn't do it in there. I was like, get it back inside. And then they managed to actually get the two bodies dismembered and put in the two drums. But while they're doing this, the Rock leaves. He leaves them a note. He's like, I can't handle this anymore. It's too much. I'm leaving. Jesus doesn't like this. And he goes back to the church to try and pray for forgiveness. And it's at this point when Ed Harris had gone to the Miami cops with all this. Like, that guy who you took the note about all the stuff being stolen by ninjas, it was true. Like, here's, like, these are the three guys. Like, and, like, they did this. They're going to get hungry. They're going to want more money. They're going to do it again. Like, you need to take them in. And the guy's like, whatever.
And during the movie, like, they had also planned to take out Tony again, and they kept trying to track him down. They looked through the hotel, and then The Rock threatened the guy, the teller or whatever, or the hotel manager, and then they got the address of where Ed Harris lives.
Actually, here is another good time when Tony Shalhoub was also stupid, because he called and threatened Marky Mark's boss.
Yeah.
When Marky Mark's boss then told Marky Mark, who had him wait around, and when Tony Shalhoub called again, they tried to get him to tell them where he was so that the boss could go and like drop off all the money and make everything right. He's like, I'm not stupid enough to tell you where I am, God. Hangs up.
And he's like, star 69.
Yeah, and then Marky Mark's like, star 69. And like,
sex?
The guy's like, you want me to 69? Like, no, hit star 6 and 9 on the phone. And like finds out where they are from that way. And then hangs up, and the boss is like, how did you do that?
So...
Yeah, so then they go there, but, Tony Shalhoub's already left.
And then Marky Mark and another guy go to Ed Harris's place. Yep. And there's a white chick making cherry pie, and then the other guy's like, I love cherry pie.
Also, he's trying to hide behind a statue that's like
obviously
this thick.
Yeah, that's obviously not gonna
like
hide
crouching
him.
behind.
So the cops show up because Ed Harris's car broke down, so they had to give him a ride home because he had just been out talking to the cops. They're like, oh shit, cops!
Abort!
And he's like, why do you think the cops are here? There's a black guy in your yard. What do you think? And like,
so they just like jump into the like ocean behind him.
Yeah. And now Tony Shalhoub, I think close to this point, is like just living with them now.
Yeah, this is the point. After this, Ed Harris goes and like picks him up, takes him back because he like meets him after he left. He's like, why? Don't tell the bad guys who are looking for you where you don't phone them. Why would you do that? Come on, take her back to my place.
So Tony Shalhoub's still not the stupidest person, but he's dumb. Basically, it all like accumulates and like boils down to
the cops are like, these other like people have gone missing because the house cleaner shows up at the porn guy's house and finds the dog sitting there with a toe. Calls the police. So the police figure out whose toe it is, and like Tiny's like, we've tied those three guys he told us about into these two people have disappeared. And Ed Harris is like, yeah, they're dead. Like, I told you to do something earlier. And the cop's like, shut up, you don't know me. So they finally, like, they move. And, like, they send, like, full SWAT teams and everything after the guys. And they get other guy at his house. And they get The Rock at the church. And they get the boss at the gym. But Marky Mark gets away.
Yep, he takes he takes the
guy's, manages to get away, gets back to the house, takes the guy's speedboat, and they don't know where he is.
So he goes to the Bahamas.
And so they're like, well, don't worry, like, we've got a track of all your money, we'll know. And then Tony Shalhoub's like, what if I had money that you didn't know about in a secret account offshore in the Bahamas? And they're like, alright, to the Bahamas! So they're racing there, and of course, as they show up at the bank, Marky Mark is there, like, emptying out a safety deposit box, and he's already got all the money. He sees him and just runs. And he almost gets away, but then Ed Harris shoots him in the leg. And then he almost gets away again, but Tony Shalhoub sees him and runs him
over
with
his
the
car.
He's like, how do you like it? So he gets arrested and brought back to Miami. And they're all tried. And it's great because they're sitting in the courtroom and, you know, all this evidence is against them. And they're also the stripper still thinks they actually are CIA agents from her.
Still
they've got all this, like Tony Shalhoub is testifying against them. Even The Rock, because he's trying to get forgiveness, he completely testifies against them and everything. And throughout this all, Marky Mark's saying, they got nothing, we're going to walk. No
It's
problem.
like, they got nothing, he's a fun crack addict.
Yeah. They got, you know, that guy is a drug addict, they're not going to trust his. And then after all this, they're like, it took the jury 14 minutes to decide.
Yeah. So, The Rock's character got sentenced to 15 years. The manager got 15 years, and then other guy and Marky Mark got death.
The end.
So,
I mean, I can see how some people might think it's like really mean-spirited, but honestly, it's just dumb people being dumb and paying for being so stupid. It's really good. It's really nice to see a Michael Bay film where like there's not a lot of action, but there's like some chase scenes and there's a couple bits with cars and everything, and it's all well shot and you can tell what's happening. It's fantastic.
yeah.
The acting is great, especially The Rock. The Rock is amazing in this.
Yeah, Rock is my favorite part of that movie. Like, they just had to keep reminding me that this is a true story, because if they didn't, I wouldn't have believed it. It's up there. Like,
yeah.
It's one of the best movies this year.
It was thoroughly enjoyable. Very, very fun, very dark comedy. That is sadly true.
Yes. So, if you want something that you can laugh at and also feel sad about humanity for, then just watch that movie.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, thank you for watching our review of Pain and Gain. Please hit that like button if you liked the video. If you liked it, definitely subscribe to the channel so you can get more of our reviews. Leave a comment if you have anything to say. I'm Matt, and this is Jerva. Thanks for watching.